Snow drifted softly over the quiet town, the streets glowing under Christmas lights. Ethan, a single dad in his mid-30s, tightened his scarf as he carried a small, wrapped gift through the crowd. His little daughter, Lily, walked beside him, clutching his hand with her tiny fingers. For years, Christmas had been just another day for Ethan. A reminder of what he'd lost. His marriage had ended on a Christmas Eve 5 years ago. Since then, he'd focused only on being a good father, burying his pain beneath smiles for Lily. That night, they were headed to the town's Christmas tree lighting. The air smelled of roasted chestnuts and cinnamon. Lily's laughter echoed as she twirled around, her pink hat slipping down her forehead. Ethan couldn't help but smile. She was his world, his reason for everything. But fate had a strange sense of timing. As they reached the coffee stall near the tree, Ethan froze. Standing by the counter was someone he never thought he'd see again. Her, his ex-wife. She turned at that very moment, her eyes widening as they met his. For a few seconds, the world blurred around them. She looked the same, maybe a little older, but her eyes still carried that quiet gentleness he'd once fallen in love with. Ethan's chest tightened. He didn't know what to say. "Mom." The word slipped from Lily's lips before he could stop her. His heart dropped. His ex-wife knelt down, tears forming instantly. "Lily, you remember me?" Lily nodded. "I prayed Santa would bring you back." The air between them grew heavy. Years of silence suddenly too loud to bear. Ethan stepped forward, unsure if he should stay or walk away. But then, something unexpected happened. Lily reached out, taking both their hands and pressing them together. "Can we just have cocoa? All of us?" she said innocently. They stood there, stunned. Two people who once shared everything, now holding the tiny bridge between their worlds. They ended up sitting at a corner table inside the warm cafe. Awkward at first, but Lily kept the conversation alive, showing her drawings, talking about school, and giggling at the foam on her cocoa mustache. Slowly, the tension melted. Ethan noticed how his ex-wife smiled at Lily's stories, the same way she used to. And when their eyes met again, there was something unspoken, not love, not yet, but understanding. Hours slipped by. Outside, the Christmas music faded, replaced by soft snow falling on the empty street. When it was time to leave, Lily stood between them, her little voice breaking the silence once more. She looked up and said two words that made both of them still. "Come home." No one spoke after that. Ethan's ex-wife blinked back tears, her hand trembling slightly as she reached for Lily's cheek. Ethan didn't know what would happen next. Maybe it was just a moment, or maybe the start of something new. But for the first time in years, Christmas didn't feel cold anymore, and as they walked out into the snow, side by side, the world seemed a little brighter. All because of two simple words from a little girl. Ethan stood there for a moment, those two words, "Come home," echoing in his heart like a forgotten song finding its way back. The snowfall thickened, wrapping the street in a calm white silence. His ex-wife looked at him, her eyes uncertain but filled with something he hadn't seen in years. Warmth. They didn't say anything at first. Lily squeezed their hands together again and smiled. "It's Christmas," she whispered softly, as if reminding them both that some wishes are meant to come true. They walked toward the old park bench where Ethan used to take Lily after the divorce. A quiet place where they'd feed pigeons and talk about dreams. As they sat down, his ex-wife spoke first. "I never stopped caring, Ethan. I just lost my way back then." Ethan looked at her, really looked at her. All the anger, the distance, the years of loneliness seemed to fade in that moment. "Maybe we both did," he said quietly. "But maybe we don't have to stay lost." She nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. Then Lily climbed onto the bench between them, leaning her head against her dad's shoulder and holding her mom's hand. "You know what my teacher said?" she asked, her voice innocent and full of belief. Christmas is about forgiving, because love doesn't end, it just waits. Ethan and his ex-wife exchanged a glance that said everything words couldn't. That night, they didn't go to different homes. They went together, just for cocoa, just to talk, just to try. And as laughter filled the little living room again, Ethan realized kindness wasn't just about helping strangers. Sometimes, it was about forgiving those who once broke your heart, and having the courage to start over. By the time the clock struck midnight, the world outside shimmered with fresh snow, and inside, something new had begun to grow. Hope wrapped in forgiveness, gently lit by the glow of love reborn. Christmas at last felt like Christmas again.